Mason saw the house because his headlights caught one yellow window between the trees. He was driving home after a late shift when a branch blocked the gravel road. His phone had one bar then none. Rain hit the windshield and the nearest road was miles behind him. He tried to move the branch but it was too heavy. That was when he noticed the porch light. A small white house sat in the woods, half hidden by fog. The porch sagged. Moss covered the roof. But the light by the door looked warm, like someone was awake. There was no driveway. No mailbox. No tire tracks. Just a narrow path through wet leaves. Mason almost stayed in the truck. Then thunder cracked and rain soaked through his jacket. He took his flashlight and walked to the porch. He knocked 3 times. No answer. He called out that his truck was stuck and he only needed a phone. Still nothing. Then a floorboard creaked inside. Slow. Heavy. Close to the door. The porch light flickered. Then the door unlocked from the inside. But it did not open. He should have left right then. Instead he stepped inside. The house smelled like wet wood, old smoke and something sour. His flashlight crossed peeling wallpaper, muddy footprints, and stairs leading to a dark second floor. "Hello?" Mason called. Only rain answered. Then he saw a landline on a table near the stairs. He picked it up and heard a dial tone. For 1 second relief hit him. Then he saw the cord. It was cut through. The dial tone was not coming from the phone. It was coming from deeper inside the house. Mason slowly lowered the receiver. From upstairs that same tone hummed through the wall. Then it stopped. A voice whispered, "He came in." Mason backed toward the front door and grabbed the knob. It would not turn. The deadbolt had been slid shut from the inside. He had not locked it. Something scraped in the room to his left. He lifted his flashlight. A dining room chair shifted, just enough for Mason to see bare feet behind it. He ran. The kitchen was worse. Dishes sat in fresh water. Bread was open on the counter. 3 soup cans sat beside a camping stove. People were living there. More than one. The back door was nailed shut. Mason grabbed a knife from the counter and moved down a side hallway. Photos covered the wall, some cut from driver's licenses. At the end of the hall, he found a room with a window. He tried to force it open. Paint sealed the frame. Then a voice spoke from the closet behind him. "Windows don't open." Mason spun around. The closet door was cracked and one eye stared through the gap. He slammed his shoulder into the window. The glass cracked but held. The closet door opened. A thin man stepped out, smiling like he had been waiting. Mason raised the knife. The man did not flinch. He only looked toward the hallway and said, "He found the picture room." Footsteps moved upstairs. Then more answered from below. Mason looked down and saw a square cut into the floor under the rug. A basement hatch. It lifted 1 inch. Fingers curled around the edge. Mason kicked the hatch down and ran back to the kitchen. He tried to pry the nails from the back door, but the wood was swollen and the nails were deep. Then the porch light outside went dark. The kitchen did too. Every light in the house shut off at once. Mason stood in blackness, holding the knife with both hands. Then someone whispered from the hallway, "Count." A second voice whispered from the stairs, 10. Another voice under the floor whispered, 9. Mason did not wait for 8. He wrapped his arm in his jacket and drove his elbow through the kitchen window. Pain shot through him but the old frame cracked. Hands grabbed him from behind. He twisted free as fingers tore his shirt. The thin man rushed from the dark. Mason swung the knife wildly and felt it hit wood. He climbed through the broken window as someone grabbed his boot. For 1 second he was stuck halfway out, stomach against the glass, legs still inside. Then his boot slipped off. He fell into the mud outside wearing 1 shoe. He ran into the trees without looking back. Behind him the front door opened. No shouting. No panic. Just calm footsteps down the porch steps. Then a flashlight clicked on. Then another. Then a third. The beams moved through the woods behind him, slow and steady, like they knew every path. Mason ran downhill, slipping over roots. Branches cut his face. Mud filled his sock. One of them called from behind him, almost bored. "Road's the wrong way." Mason turned anyway. That was when he saw another light ahead. For 1 second he thought it was his truck. Then the beam rose. A man stood between 2 trees, holding a lantern. Waiting. Mason cut left and crashed through brush until he heard water rushing ahead. He found a creek swollen by rain and jumped in. Cold water swallowed his legs. Rocks hit his knees. He moved downstream with one hand over his mouth while flashlights passed above him. A voice said, "He'll come out by the road." Mason stayed under the roots until the lights moved away. He found the gravel road almost an hour later. His truck was still there. But the branch blocking the road was gone. So was his driver's side door handle. On the windshield, written through the rain and mud, were 4 words. "You knocked too loud." Mason did not get in. He ran down the road until a delivery van found him near sunrise. Police searched the woods that morning. They found the house, the broken window, the basement hatch, the picture room, the cut phone cord, and Mason's boot in the mud. But the people were gone. In the basement, officers found blankets, batteries, canned food, stolen wallets, and a wall covered in license plates. Most belonged to missing hikers and stranded drivers from nearby counties. The porch light was wired to a battery hidden under the floor. It was not there because someone lived comfortably. It was bait. Upstairs, police found a notebook filled with short notes. Vehicle colors, times, weather, who stopped, who kept driving. The last line was about Mason. Came in alone, left bleeding, knows the road. Mason moved out of the county after that. He still avoids gravel roads at night. He still checks behind him when he sees a porch light in the distance. Because the part that scares him most is not the locked door or the men in the walls. It is the branch in the road. Someone put it there. Someone watched him stop. And someone turned on the porch light before he ever stepped into the woods. So if your car broke down at night and you saw a warm light glowing between the trees, would you knock on the door? Or stay lost in the dark?